Part 1.
Othello the Moor, a general in the Duke of Venice's army, and Desdemona, the daughter of a Venetian politician, were married secretly. He was much older than she was, but she loved him. He was a simple, honest man and brave in battle. He was highly respected as a soldier, but he wasn't respected as a person. Their marriage had to be secret because Brabantio, Desdemona's father, didn't think that Othello was good enough for his daughter. Othello was a Moor, and Brabantio didn't want a black son-in-law. When Iago, Othello's ensign, heard about the secret marriage, he saw an opportunity to hurt the general. Iago was an ambitious man, but he was also dishonest and scheming, and he hated Othello. He hated him for choosing Michael Cassio, a very young soldier with no experience, as his new lieutenant. Iago was older than Cassio. He had a lot of experience in battle, and 3 important men in the city had recommended him for the position. But Othello chose Michael Cassio, not Iago. He decided to have his revenge on the general. One night, while he was walking through the city streets, he met Roderigo, a rich Venetian. Roderigo was in love with Desdemona and wanted to marry her, but Brabantio didn't like him. He had told the nobleman to leave his daughter alone. Iago heard about this and saw an opportunity to make some money. He knew that Roderigo was very rich and a little stupid, so he offered to help him win Desdemona in return for gold. Roderigo agreed. A few days after this, he heard about her marriage to Othello. Now he was angry with Iago.
Iago, I gave you money to win the lady. Now she's married to the Moor,
he said.
What can I do?
Don't worry, sir. There is still a chance for you. Othello is happy with his new wife, but you can spoil his happiness. Let's go and tell her father that his daughter has married a black man. He will be furious and will demand a divorce.
Yes, yes,
Roderigo replied.
Look, here's Brabantio's house. I'll shout to him. Hey, Brabantio! Signor Brabantio! Wake up, Brabantio!
Iago shouted.
Thieves! Thieves! You have been robbed, sir!
An old man came to the window. He looked angry.
What's the matter? Why are you shouting like that?
He asked.
Don't you know that it's the middle of the night?
Your daughter has run away to marry the Moor, sir.
Roderigo told him.
She's with him now.
What?
Brabantio said.
Who are you?
Roderigo, sir.
I told you to stay away from my house.
Brabantio shouted.
You are not going to marry my daughter. Go away and leave me in peace.
If you don't believe me, go to her room, sir.
Roderigo said.
If she is there, call the Duke's guards. I'm ready to go to prison for lying to you.
Brabantio looked at him. Was Roderigo really telling the truth?
Give me a light,
he said to one of his servants, and he went to look for his daughter. Iago saw that his plan was working, so he left quietly. Brabantio looked all over the house, but he couldn't find Desdemona anywhere. The nobleman was telling the truth. She must be with the Moor. He was furious. He went back to Roderigo.
Take me to the Moor,
he said.
I must get my daughter back before it's too late.
They arrived at Othello's house at the same time as Cassio and Othello were leaving it. The general and his lieutenant were going to the council chamber for a meeting with the Duke of Venice. Brabantio went up to Othello and shouted at him angrily.
Thief! You have stolen my daughter! What kind of magic did you use? You will go to prison for this.
If I go to prison, I won't be able to obey the Duke's orders.
Othello replied calmly.
He wants to see me about a very important matter. I'm going to see him now.
When Brabantio heard that, he decided to go with them.
I'll tell the Duke that you're a thief. He'll understand and give me back my daughter.
The Duke was sitting in the council chamber when Othello, Brabantio and Roderigo arrived. He wanted to discuss a serious military problem with his general, but he realized immediately that he had to solve Brabantio's problem first. He listened patiently while Othello explained how he and Desdemona had fallen in love.
I used no magic,
he said.
But why don't you speak to Desdemona? She'll tell you.
The Duke called Desdemona. Father, she said, you gave me my life and an education. While I was your daughter, you were my lord and I obeyed you. But Othello is my husband and my lord now. I must obey him. When her father heard her words, he understood that she really loved Othello. There was nothing he could do.
She's yours, Moor. Take her. I don't want anything else to do with her.
Brabantio said sadly and went home. Then Othello turned to the Duke and said,
What did you want to see me about, my lord? The Turks are planning to attack the island of Cyprus.
The Duke said,
You must prepare your ships and leave immediately. Yes, my lord.
Othello said,
May I have your permission to take Desdemona with me? She can't stay here alone.
The Duke agreed, and Othello and Desdemona left. Roderigo was very disappointed.
What should I do now?
He asked Iago.
I love Desdemona, but if she can't be mine, I prefer to die.
Rubbish,
Iago replied.
Desdemona will soon get tired of the Moor. Then you'll have your chance. Put money in your purse and follow us to Cyprus to fight the Turks.
There was a violent storm at sea, and most of the Turkish fleet sank before they reached the island of Cyprus. The Venetian ships, however, all arrived safely, and Othello ordered a general celebration.
Come, Desdemona. Come, Cassio,
he said.
Let's go to the castle and prepare for the feast.
Iago watched as Desdemona and Cassio followed the general to the city. He was still thinking about how to get his revenge, and when he saw Desdemona and Cassio together, he had an idea. He went to find Roderigo.
Desdemona is in love with Michael Cassio,
he told the unhappy Venetian nobleman.
She is already tired of Othello. She wants a younger, more handsome man, and Cassio is both young and handsome.
But Desdemona is a good woman,
Roderigo replied sadly.
No women are good, Roderigo, and Cassio is stupid.
Iago replied.
But I have a plan. You must trust me. I need your help.
He told Roderigo to start a fight with Cassio that evening.
It will be easy,
he said.
Insult him. He gets angry very easily and will try and hit you. Make him hit you. A street fight will destroy his reputation as a good soldier. When Othello hears about it, he'll take away his rank. Then you'll get what your heart wants.
Later that night, the governor of Cyprus heard a lot of noise in the street outside his house. He went to see what was happening. Cassio and Roderigo were fighting. He tried to stop them, but Cassio, who had drunk too much wine, attacked and wounded him. Roderigo disappeared quickly. When Othello arrived, he was very angry with Cassio and took away his rank. Iago was delighted.
Good,
he thought.
Now I will poison Othello's mind against his wife. I'll tell him that she is having an affair with Cassio. He'll be mad with jealousy.
After the fight, Cassio went to see Iago to ask for his advice.
Iago,
He cried,
I've lost my reputation as a soldier. This is the end of me. Tell me what to do.
All is not lost, Cassio. You must ask Desdemona to help you. Our general's wife is the general now. Ask her to speak to Othello about giving you back your rank.
Cassio trusted Iago, so he went to speak to Desdemona the next day. Don't worry, Cassio. I'll speak to Othello, Desdemona said. Oh, look, there he is now with Iago. Why don't you stay and listen to what I say to him?
Thank you, madam, but I won't stay. I feel too embarrassed.
Cassio replied and hurried away. Othello saw him.
Was that Cassio?
He asked Iago.
No, I'm sure it wasn't, sir.
His ensign replied.
Cassio has no reason for running away like a guilty man when he sees you.
Yes, you're right.
Othello said.
But I think it was him.
Desdemona went up to her husband and immediately asked him to forgive Cassio and give him back his rank. Call him back now, my love, she said. He's very sorry about the fight.
Not now. Later.
Tonight, then?
No, not tonight. We have guests for dinner.
Tomorrow evening?
I'm eating with my captains tomorrow evening.
When then? Tuesday? Wednesday? When can he come? Othello began to feel annoyed.
He can come when he likes,
He said sharply.
Now leave me. I have other things to think about.
Later that day, when he was alone with Othello, Iago hinted that Cassio and Desdemona were lovers. Othello didn't want to believe him, but he was already a little suspicious of Cassio.
Iago is an honest man, and he understands people.
He thought.
Desdemona is getting tired of me. I'm too old for her. Or perhaps it's because I'm black.
He felt.
Part 2.
Desdemona went to tell Othello that their guests were waiting. She was with her maid Emilia, who was also Iago's wife. She was a good woman, but Iago was cruel to her. Desdemona was worried when she saw her husband's sad face. What's the matter, my love? She said. You don't look well.
I have a headache.
Othello replied. Here, she said, take my handkerchief and tie it round your head. You'll feel better soon.
It's too small.
Othello said, and threw it on the floor.
Let's go and have dinner.
Emilia picked up the handkerchief and put it in her pocket.
This is the handkerchief that Othello gave to Desdemona,
she said to herself.
Iago has asked me for it many times. I'll give it to him. Perhaps he'll love me a little more if I do him this favour.
The handkerchief was an important part of Iago's plan to get his revenge. After dinner, Othello looked for Iago. He couldn't forget the ensign's words, and now he was certain that Desdemona was unfaithful to him.
What are you hiding from me, Iago?
He shouted.
Tell me. I must know the truth.
Sir,
Iago replied.
you are putting me in a difficult situation.
Tell me what you know, honest Iago. Please, I beg you. I'm suffering.
Well,
Iago began.
Desdemona has a handkerchief with a strawberry pattern on.
I know.
Othello interrupted.
It was a present to her from me.
Well, she doesn't have it anymore. Cassio has it. I saw him with it this morning.
Othello nearly exploded with anger.
Blood, Iago.
He shouted.
I want blood.
Be patient, sir.
Iago said.
Think first. You might want to change your mind.
No, Iago. Cassio and Desdemona must die. You must help me kill them.
Very well, sir. I'll take my orders from you.
Before Othello left, he made Iago his new lieutenant. Desdemona looked everywhere for her handkerchief, but she couldn't find it. "Where can it be, Emilia?" she asked her maid. "Othello gave it to me. I hope I haven't lost it."
I don't know, madam.
Emilia lied.
But look, Othello is coming now.
Othello greeted his wife coldly, but she didn't notice. She smiled at him and said, "How are you, my lord? How is your headache?"
I have a cold,
he replied.
May I have your handkerchief?
"I'm sorry, but I don't have it on me at the moment," she said.
Have you lost it?
He demanded angrily.
I hope not. It was my mother's.
"No, I haven't lost it."
Then go and get it.
"Not now, my love. I'll get it later. Have you spoken to Cassio yet? He's a good man and has served you well."
The handkerchief!
Othello shouted. "He's shared many dangers with you, and—"
The handkerchief!
Othello shouted even more loudly. Desdemona started to feel a little afraid. "Othello, what's the matter?" He didn't answer her. He turned and walked away.
He's jealous,
Emilia said. "No, he can't be," Desdemona said. "He must be worried about something. Perhaps there are problems here in Cyprus." The next day, a messenger arrived from Venice. He had a letter from the Duke for Othello.
The Duke has ordered me to return to Venice.
Othello said bitterly.
Cassio will be the new governor of Cyprus.
"Oh, that's good," Desdemona said. "I'm glad about that."
Are you?
Othello said, and slapped her face. Desdemona started to cry. "Othello, what have I done wrong?" She sobbed and ran to her room. Later that day, Iago met Roderigo and persuaded him to kill Cassio. Roderigo agreed, but the fight didn't go according to their plan. Cassio stabbed Roderigo, who ran away. Then Iago tried to kill Cassio, but only wounded him in the leg. When Othello heard Cassio's shouts of pain, he thought,
Good. Iago has killed Cassio. Now I will kill Desdemona.
He went to her room where she was asleep in bed. He looked at her.
I must kill her,
he said.
She has been unfaithful.
He kissed her 3 times. Desdemona opened her eyes. "Are you coming to bed, my lord?" she asked.
Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona?
"Yes, my lord. Why?"
I don't want to kill you if your soul isn't ready.
"Kill me?"
Yes. You've been unfaithful to me with Cassio.
"No, my lord."
Don't lie to me. That handkerchief I gave you. You gave it to Cassio.
"I didn't."
You did. Iago saw it in his hand.
"Perhaps Cassio found it. Ask him."
He's dead. Iago has killed him.
"Oh, no, my lord, please don't kill me. Let me live tonight, just one more night."
It's too late. Too late.
Othello picked up a pillow and pressed it on her face. Desdemona tried to push it away, but he only pressed it down harder. Finally, she stopped moving. She was dead. A little later, Othello learnt the truth about the handkerchief from Emilia and Cassio. He couldn't forgive himself for killing Desdemona. He pulled out his dagger and stabbed himself in the heart.